Hey guys, what's up? Today we're going to talk about the new Oding GL M. I believe I said that right. The Oding GL M from Olight. Let's talk about it. Okay, so full disclosures, everything out of the way. Olight did send me this light laser combo to check out, review. I actually helped them a little bit in developing this, just a little bit. Just kind of T&E kind of stuff. But anyway, that kind of disclosure stuff out of the way. Take what I say with a grain of salt if you have to, okay? I did not purchase this with my money, right? That's what I'm trying to say. This was sent to me for this video and all this stuff, okay? So, the Oding GL M. What is it? Basically, in essence, the Oding GL M is an Odin, right, which I have on other guns around me and everything. It's an Odin that has an integrated laser, right? The laser, we'll pop this guy off real quick. The laser is actually on the inside, if it'll show up in here, the dark spot in there. Well, my lights are kind of funky. But basically on the inside there is a laser. Maybe if I turn the laser on, you can see it. Bazam! There it is. Okay. Try not to shine it directly into the lens of the camera. But basically, yes, there's a laser on the inside of here. So there's no external extra piece, kind of like on some pistol light laser things that have like the laser nubbing out the bottom or whatever. This is all integrated. So everything's kind of encapsulated and protected in a way. All right. Not sure if exactly that's what they were going for, but that's kind of what you get out of this. Okay. All right. So the operation of this guy is pretty straightforward and simple. Just like the other Odins, it has a button on the back, right? And depending on where you have this guy set up as, if it's just the light, if you do the light press in the back, you get your low beam, which is 300 lumens. If you push hard, you get your, or you push all the way in, whatever, then you get your high beam, which I believe is 1500 lumens. I believe that's what it says on here. Yeah, 1500 to 300 lumens. That's exactly like all the other Odins that they have out there, where you have your low beam on a light press, you push all the way, you get your high beam, okay? To get your laser activated, it's pretty simple. You have this rotating collar on here, right? Hopefully you can see that. It's got a rotating collar, and that allows you to switch between just the light, right? The light and the laser, which you can't tell, but there's a light and a laser on there. Or you switch it over to just laser, right? And there's your laser right there. Now, this laser I have found to be perfectly adequate in indoor settings and dawn, dusk, night settings, right? If you're out in the blazing sunlight, especially right now where I'm at, where we got a lot of snow and you get snow blind, you're not going to see anything, right? If you get in that super bright daylight kind of stuff, you're not going to see anything. And that's just like any other laser from any other company that I've ever gotten. If it's super, super bright outside, you're going to have a hard time picking up that laser. Now, this is a green laser, so it does help contrast. You can pick it up, in my mind, maybe a little bit easier than red. I don't know. That's personal preference kind of stuff. I do like the green laser. But if it is super, super bright outside, just keep that in mind. You're probably not going to see it, okay? If it's very far away, right? And especially right now, when I'm saying this, is my experience with this is with the snow. When the sun comes out and hits that snow, it's blinding. It's hard to see anything anyway. All right, so the other two things that they changed on here, kind of updated a little bit, are the pressure pad and the mount. The mount, they beefed up to accommodate the laser, because a laser needs to be 100% secure. It can't be moving around. It can't have any adjustments. That's something we ran into during the T&E kind of time we had with this thing, where the zero was not being maintained and it would just wobble around. They fixed that part of it by adding these two set screws on both sides. Basically, they would, when this guy is in, he's going to lock in. Those set screws are going to contact the light itself, and they're going to squish it together and keep it from moving around. That does work, right? That did accomplish the goal that it was set out to do, which is to lock the light down to where the light laser will not move. And they did that very well. That works, okay? And as far as I know, this is only going to come in the M-Lock mount, right? The Picatinny mount, I don't think they're doing this with that one. So the M-Lock mount is the one that gets shipped with this guy, and that's the one that has these locking screws on it to lock it down. All right, the pressure pad they changed, because it used to, I'll go ahead and put this guy back in. Yes, I just flagged myself, but it's an empty gun. Yeah, let's get this guy in. There we go. All right, so the old pressure pad was just a single pad across the top, where you would press it for momentary, just like this, or you would click it and it would stay on, right? This one is a little bit different, right? And they are not cross-compatible. You can't use this mount on the old one, you can't use the old one on this one. As far as my experience, you can't do that. This new one has, it says it on here, this main pad is your high beam, this is your low beam. So you have a separation. So you can get your low beam, right? And if you clicked it on, it's gonna stay on. Then if you can go back up here and press your high beam, you can see it bumped it up, right? And you click it and it can stay on. That is good. That's nice that they did that. There's not a third button on here for just the laser. You still control that with your ring up here, your selector ring, whatever they want to call it. You still control all that up here. So if you have it on only laser, see if that's only laser. Yeah, if you have it on only laser, then when you hit that button, see if I can get the light in here, yeah. Yeah, if you hit that button, it's going to illuminate just the laser. There's no light involved unless you turn the bezel, and now you have your light and all that kind of stuff going on. Your light and laser, or just light, or just laser, depending on how you have it set up. So that's kind of your main features of this guy. Now, all right, so pros and cons of this guy. Real quick, down and dirty. I do not have any concerns with the mount. The mount is solid. They fixed it with those 2 set screws. The light is not going to move, right? The laser light combo thing, this is not going to move, okay? There is a slight variance, whatever you want to call it, with this thing not holding 100% zero, and it has to be on the internals of this system, right? It's got to be on the internals of here. Now, how bad is it? It's depending, I don't know. For my experience, it would have a shift 6 inches or so sometimes, or maybe 4 inches or so sometimes. And that just depended on how fast I shot the gun, you know, how many rounds I shot through the gun. I also had a whole lot of temperature changes, right? This thing was glowing red hot, basically. I fired it very, very quickly, and it was really, really cold outside. So there are a bunch of variables thrown in there and everything, but this guy did have some shift in zero, right? And in holding zero, he had a little bit of shift change, right? Like I said, 4 to 6 inches, which depending on what you're trying to do, could be okay. If you're shooting pop cans and gallon milk jugs at 50 yards, you're probably gonna be just fine. And if it's a fun gun, that's cool. If you're planning on using this for some kind of long range thing, you're probably not getting it for the laser anyway. If you're planning on using this for some kind of a point and shoot for a shotgun, that'd be perfectly fine probably. A point and shoot for an AR or a precision gun, probably not the market that this thing is going for, right? Because it's not a precision instrument. Right? I think it might be able to be if they lock down whatever internal things in here are moving. But right now, this is more or less, this would be great on like a shotgun, even on a 22 just for planking and having fun shooting, you know, 10, 15 yards with, you know, with a 22 on a steel plate or whatever. That'd be great. Cool, fine, whatever. But for serious quote unquote use, I would shy away from this for the laser aspect of it until they get this locking mechanism, not the locking mechanism, until they get the internals hammered out to be bomb proof. It does have a little bit of a shift, all right? That's all I'm gonna say about that. The pressure pad, they did upgrade it, right? They did update it, and it looks better, it feels better, but there's still a slight issue, and I've told them this before, and I told them right from the beginning, whenever I said I'd do reviews and stuff with them, I'd tell you guys the good, the bad, and the ugly. I already told you about the laser. But the pressure pad, I've told them I don't know how many times, they need to beef this up. They need to do something else to it. Because sometimes, and it probably won't do it here on camera, now it's going to work on camera because I'm on camera, but sometimes you'll get pieces of particulates, especially since this is magnetic, you'll get pieces of metal shavings in here that somehow, and sometimes, not all the time, they will separate the interface, right? Basically, they will disconnect. Not that this coupling will disconnect, but on the inside, those materials, those metallic shavings or whatever, however they get there, they create a connectivity issue to where the pressure pad is no longer attached or no longer connected electronically. It's physically connected, but it's not connected electronically with the light, right? So you'll press the pressure pad and nothing will happen. Or, I have had this happen, you bump the gun and it bumps this connection point back here and it triggers the light and the light turns on. So, that's the bad and the ugly about this system right now, is they need to beef that up. If they can figure that out, I would absolutely love this light. Now, the light itself, I have had no issues. If you remove and you delete the whole pressure pad system, I have never had a problem with the light itself. It's still got the button on the back. I've never had a problem with it working, right? By itself, it works fine. With the pressure pad, it's finicky, right? It can be a little bit finicky. So if you were going to use this in some kind of a more serious role, at this point in time, I wouldn't have a problem using this by itself. Now, if I'm gonna run it with the pressure pad, I'm gonna have to know straight off that if something happens, I could accidentally bump the gun and it turns on, or I could go to hit the pressure pad and it won't turn on. If you just go to hit the pressure pad and it doesn't turn on, you can easily pop this guy off and just go straight for the button, right? But if you bump this thing up against something and you get a negligent discharge with your light, that could be a bad day, right? So for serious use, I would say just don't use the pressure pad, use the straight up button on the back, and the light itself will be fine. If you're gonna try to be using the laser for serious use, not sure if the laser for serious use is the best thing to do, but for fun, for kicks and giggles, for running out, hitting a range, and just having a blast, by all means, go for it, right? But for serious use, maybe wait until they fix that the innards, right? They beef up the innards of it. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. I'll show you the back of the box here. If you want specific detailed information about run times and things, you can screenshot this thing or just go to their website. They'll have more information there. But basically, you've got, what, 1,500 lumens down to 300 lumens and run times from 2.5 hours down to 6 hours, or up to 6 hours and 30 minutes. And that all depends on if it's on high beam with a laser, on low beam without a laser, bunch of different variations and variables in between there. But I have found personally, every time that I have tested these lights and actually done a full burn of the battery, I have found that you get a little bit more, I don't know what percentage it would be, 5, 10, whatever percent more runtime than they advertise. So if they advertise, just for instance, if they advertise it'll run for an hour on high, then I'm getting more like an hour in 10 minutes or an hour in 5 minutes. I'm generally getting a little bit more, right? That's been my personal honest experience with this. I think I've shown that on some of these things. I've run them through their course several times, and every time they've done that. So I wouldn't have any worries about the run times and stuff like that. So I would just go off what they say on the back of the box. All right. That's pretty much it, guys. If you have any questions about this thing, let me know. I really enjoyed testing it. I thought that was a lot of fun. I think it has some great potential. If they beefed up the inside of this mechanism for the laser, I think it'd be great, right? Like I said, they have some other lights out there that are just simple pistol lights, pistol light laser combos. Those things hold zero. Those things, for me, they've held zero and they work great. This guy, something on the inside just needs to be beefed up a little bit, and I would give this thing a full check approval. And if they fix this tape switch, right? So right now the tape switch is fun, the laser is fun, the light is good. There you go. That's what I have to say about it. The light itself is good. The mount is excellent. Excellent mount. Love this mount. I wish I could mount my Streamlights on here and Surefires and all the other stuff. The mount itself is fantastic. The light is good. The laser and the tape switch, they can still use a little bit more work and upgrading this stuff. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Y'all be good to be safe. Appreciate you watching, subscribing, and everything. Hope this helped you. Let me know what you think below. And yeah, hopefully we'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya.